I'm Libby Emmons. I'm here with Catalina Lauf, who is running for Congress, just announced her run for the seat that Byron Donalds is vacating. So I'm very excited to talk to you about that. Tell me a little bit about it. What inspired you to run for Congress?
Thanks so much for having me on, Libby. I have been now a Florida resident for a little bit of time, and it's been my complete honor to be out here every single day talking to people, talking to the constituency about what matters to them and what the type of representative they want. And they've been so grateful for a lion in Congress like Byron Donalds. He's not only been a voice for the people of the 19th district here in Florida, but a national voice helping President Trump deliver on the America First agenda, which I was so proud to be a part of as a Trump 45 admin alum. I was at the Department of Commerce. And so this district is really looking for servant leadership that is going to continue on the America First agenda. So I'm really proud to be sort of this next generation of America First and really embodying the values of not only our founding, but also providing solutions on a legislative agenda that is going to help the constituents of all backgrounds. We have so many people here from so many walks of life. You have young families to retirees, you have veterans, you have blue state refugees like myself. And at the end of the day, so many of us just want to be able to provide for our families, have safe and secure communities, have a strong border, crack down on illegal immigration. And from an economic standpoint, a lot of us just really want, again, to be able to provide for our families and live freely. So I'm really proud to be running on those values and carrying on the torch for the America First agenda.
You mentioned servant leadership, and that's something that we don't see a lot of these days in Congress. We see a lot of people who seem to be out there just for their own ends and their own popularity. I'm thinking like, Jasmine Crockett spends more time on TikTok than she does in Congress, and other people like that. AOC got famous for being out there, on social media instead of actually getting anything done in Congress. What does servant leadership mean to you? I think it's fascinating. It's not something we hear a lot from would-be congressional representatives.
I'm really grateful you asked that. To me, servant leadership, your member of Congress, your representative in a representative democracy like we have here in America, is there to serve the people, full stop. And what we have seen and what we have found for so long in this country, unfortunately, has been people who go to office to fill their own pocketbooks. You have so many accusations of insider trading or people who are using their positions, like you mentioned about Jasmine and AOC, as these reality TV celebrities without actually providing anything for the people whom we're elected to serve. And to me, it's a servant of the people. It's somebody who listens. It's somebody who is not there for selfish reasons. They're there to be a strong voice and carry the values of the hundreds of thousands of people who have believed in them enough to carry their voices to Washington. And the people need to come first. For so long, we have seen this degradation in our institutions of, again, these selfish people. We see it even on both sides of the aisle, unfortunately. You have people, members of Congress, who are there for too long, and until we enact term limits, we need to bring back virtue and value to our representative democracy the way our founders wanted, the way our founders intended. They were the first servant leaders. They quite literally gave up their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor to build what we have. And so many of them went on to represent people. And again, there wasn't a selfish bone in their body. So I'm really proud to carry on the torch of so many servant leaders that we do have in this country. We stand on the shoulders of giants. We have so many of them in our past. We need to start bringing that back to our politics.
Yeah, I love to hear you say that, because one thing I think people forget is that it's the people's house. I mean, our representatives are there to, like you said, bring our needs to Washington and get those needs met. And I'm so sick of seeing it otherwise. You know, we see with this government shutdown right now. And what's amazing to me, and I'm interested in your take on this, it's been dominating some of the headlines this week, is that you've seen J.D. Vance and you've seen others come out and say, hey, you know, sure, we're on board with healthcare. That's something we, of course, all want. But what's going on with, you know, extending tax credits for healthcare when we don't even know if it's just going for American citizens or what? And you've seen, I don't know if you saw that clip, but it was from Lindell TV reporter was out there talking to Maxine Waters, and Maxine Waters would not deny that her interest was for illegal immigrants to get health care. She said, you know, that she wanted health care for everybody and for all the people and never made that distinction. Do you think that that is something that Democrats are looking to do, is to have federal benefits for illegal immigrants? And how would you deal with something like that if you are in Congress?
Absolutely. You know, the Democratic Party has made it very clear that their base is not the American people. It's illegal immigrants. It's people who are breaking our laws. You know, I'm the daughter of somebody who came here legally, came here the right way. My family did not expect handouts. They wanted to work hard. They wanted to become American citizens by their own merit and do it the right way. There are so many of us, children of immigrants, who understand what it takes to come here the right way. And we, of all people, when we hear the Democratic Party pushing things like free benefits, free healthcare, you know, for so long, they were rolling out the red carpet. They have in sanctuary cities for so long prior to this. That enrages people who came here the right way. It not only enrages the people, legal immigrants, but also we Americans who are so sick and tired of the Democrats putting people, again, illegals, ahead of the will of the people. And we have so many people who work hard, they pay their taxes, they are trying to provide for their families, and yet the bill is on them to provide for people who don't even belong in this country to begin with. It's a disgrace. And to be honest, one of the main reasons I truly believe President Trump was reelected in a historic reelection was not only for all the great things that he was able to accomplish the first presidency, and he was a amazing answer, obviously, to Biden as well. However, illegal immigration was one of the top issues for constituents in the American public. And it's time that we, again, as representatives, put our people first, and we make sure the Republicans have a solid answer that, no, this is not about being racist or bigot or any of the words that they want to call us, the Democratic Party wants to call us. This is about stopping the insanity of, again, not putting the American people ahead of people who don't belong in this country or have come here illegally.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. And also in Florida, there's a lot of immigrants in Florida. Mm-hmm. How do the constituents in your district feel about this issue?
I would say overwhelmingly they support the crackdown at the border. I've talked to so many Hispanic families out here who, like mine, came here with nothing in their pockets. They sacrificed a lot, but yet they were able to do it the right way, and they are part of the community. They are amazing citizens here. They have businesses and they are part of the workforce, and they are integrated into the community in such a great way because they assimilated, they immersed themselves in the culture. But first and foremost, they didn't break the law, and their families didn't break the laws. So again, here in Florida, we have so many Hispanic immigrants from all different countries, and they overwhelmingly agree with what Republicans stand for, which is stopping the border crisis that was happening under the Biden administration, that the Trump administration has done an incredible job at doing, but then also making sure that we are still cracking down in our communities where we do have a lot of crime that is caused by illegal immigrants, and making sure that we are putting, again, the American people first, and that includes legal immigrants who have come into this country the right way.
And then just one more question for you. What are you? I know that you have an interest in securing, prosperity for American families. What is something that you think you could do for that, like in Congress? What can Congress do to help American families prosper in this country? There's so much debate about the American dream and is that dying? Is it still relevant? Is it racist? Like who even knows what anybody's talking about half the time? But what's how can we do that? Especially in the past few years with COVID, you had so many people. I think Ben Shapiro called it the great resorting, the great sort, where people were just leaving where they grew up and where they were from to places where they felt they could have more freedom and more opportunity. What is that all? It's a lot, but what does that all look like to you?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, Florida as a state is a perfect example of that. There were so many blue state refugees who came down to a free state like Florida, and that wasn't just looking for freedom, it was also looking for economic opportunity. And what that means is making sure that businesses in particular we're fostering a legislative environment that allows businesses to thrive. Well, that means enacting pro-growth policies. One of the biggest things that came out of the Trump 45 administration was the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act that was thankfully repassed now back in July. And so many of those provisions in there were able to provide a positive economic landscape for not only businesses but families. When we give relief from a federal level to families, that is incredibly that it might not look like, I forgot, it was Hillary Clinton, I think, might have mentioned it was cents or peanuts or something. She said something to that effect. And the fact that when we do have legislators who focus on pro-growth economic policies, things like tax breaks, things like incentives, deregulation on many companies, or deregulation on certain industries, that is so important. But instead, you have an entire other side who believes in government spending, government jobs, a bloated bureaucracy, when we on the Republican side believe in free market capitalism. We believe in competition. We believe in, again, fostering a pro-growth economic environment that allows the American workforce, the American family, the American business owner to be able to, again, thrive and grow their business. And so there's so much that you can do from a policy perspective that makes it so important for people with conservative economic values to be in office and represent people in Congress, because we do have the ability, it controls the power of the purse. And that also means lowering government spending. Again, the American people are trying to afford basic necessities for their families. Why are we paying an exorbitant amount of cost on so many different levels in form of taxation? So those are just, I'm an F.A. Hayek girl from an economic perspective. I am very much classical conservative when it comes to economics, and we need to be embodying more of that from a federal perspective.
Okay, great. Oh, just one more thing. I talked to a woman who would be your colleague, Anna Paulina Luna, recently, and she was telling me that she's interested in repealing the Patriot Act, which is something I was definitely against in the Bush administration when that came in. Seemed to be a big infringement on American liberties. What do you think about that?
First of all, Congresswoman Anna Paulina is a great friend of mine. She's been a champion for individual liberties from all aspects, not just that. I 100% agree with that. That was very draconian when that was originally put in, and not a lot of people actually know about it. I mean, it has gained a lot more attention over the last couple years now, but I completely agree with repealing that, and it's something that I hope that she and her colleagues are able to kind of push through now that we have control of Congress, and hopefully it's something that I can also help champion as well.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much, Catalina. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Libby. I appreciate you.
Thanks.